Right, hello everyone to my first YouTube video. And guess what? I'm going to be doing a Star Wars tier list, which, quite frankly, the very first one. No one has ever done it, ever. Right, and it's going to be doing the films. So, this is going to be interesting, and I know people are very, very much not going to like this. People are going to hate it. I just know it. Because I have something. My views on the films obviously are going to differ because, of course, I grew up watching the prequels, and people who grew up with the original trilogy don't like it. I think mostly didn't like it anyway. I think it might be because of nostalgia or because I grew up watching them as a literal as an I grew up with the prequel trilogy, so that might make me more tolerant to like its worst features. But how I might do right to left. Probably be a lot easier. I might just pick and choose thinking about it, right? So let's see. Let's do everyone's favorite one, Attack of the Clones. You know that classic. Thing is, I actually fine with this film. And of course, there's like some bad lines in it. I mean, who doesn't like sand? But for me, there are some things that work in the film that just makes me like it even more. I mean, there's Ewan McGregor, uh, Samuel Jackson as Mace Windu, and Samuel L. Jackson does peek through in a bit before the Battle of Geonosis, which in itself is an awesome sight. There's the actual Battle of Geonosis where they go on the fields and not the arena. Like to be honest, the whole finale of the film from the arena to the credits, I think, is an actually good section of the film, which ups it. And even then, the whole Obi-Wan Kenobi thing, like his part, like sections in the film are just good in my opinion, especially Slave One's thermal charge. I think it's called a thermal charge, whatever. Like the charge thing, like their sound design is just fantastic. So actually, I haven't even given the rankings yet. So S is if any one of these films were the only films in existence, I would watch them all day, every day. A is I would watch these again, no joke, but I would get bored watching them eventually. B is, the average films. I would come back to them once in a while. Um, C is below average. The Mez. Um, I would only watch these films if I had to in a family setting. And then there's D. If these were the only films in existence, I still wouldn't watch them. Right, so yeah, Attack of the Clones. I would put that average. I can watch them, and I do watch it from time to time. They'll probably be a very high B. Uh, Everyone's second favorite prequel film, The Phantom Menace. Isn't that just great? I actually like this film. I will put that in A. No joke. I mean, Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor are such a good pairing. I actually sort of like them. I wish we actually saw more of Liam Neeson in the films. I think we see him once or twice in the Clone Wars 3D TV show. But they actually got him back for it, which I find fantastic. The pod race scene, the opening scene, Darth Maul, like Ray Park in Duel of the Fates at the end, just fantastic. Shame about what happened with the actor for Anakin Skywalker, where everyone just I don't like. I love things like I love Star Wars. It's like my childhood, and like the themes in it sort of still stick to me to this day. But I don't get why people who so like hate something with such venom that they go after the actors themselves about that they're just doing their job. Like if a video game came out and it ended up being bad, you wouldn't really blame. Most of the time, it's sort of like it's a collective thing if a game goes bad. But with films, I don't get why people go to the actors. like the actress who played Rose, I think was her name in the sequel trilogy. She had to like go off Twitter or something because people were harassing her. The actor who played Jar Jar Binks, he nearly, you know, especially the kid who played Anakin. I'm pretty sure he didn't exactly have I think he had a very very bad. I think he had a very bad life because kids were just taking the mick out of him. So it's I feel bad for that, and I feel bad for Hayden Christensen who had to play teenage Anakin as well. Like he's just doing his job, and people just didn't like him. I thought he was okay. Like yeah, Anakin was arrogant because he was essentially the strongest force wielder ever. It does go to your head for a while. Especially that you've essentially been told that you're the chosen one, so you're the most important Jedi ever. Sort of doesn't help with your ego. Um. So yeah, that's my stance on it. I don't think Aiden Christian was a bad actor. It's just circumstances that were essentially out of his control that sort of like forced it. Because I mean, Hayden Christensen didn't. He wasn't well known at the time, and I imagine he was nervous and he didn't want to backtalk George Lucas. So I think he just went with it. Though I do like one thing. Yeah, I mean I like most things about it. So yeah, it's probably high average. If it was just like a tiny bit better, it would be A, no joke. Maybe if they just work some dialogue or something like that. And of course there's Christopher Lee as Count Dooku, which was a perfect touch. It's a shame we never got to see a Count Dooku versus Mace Windu, but I'm fine with the Dooku versus Yoda, which I'm fine with. So, yeah, okay, let's see. Let's do some other trilogies now. Empire, obviously. Thing is, for the original trilogy, I feel like I don't have to say anything. Like, at all. I don't have to say anything. But I will try. But right, let's see. Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, and Mark Hamill put on just a great performance. James Earl Jones, I think it was. I can't remember the actor's name who actually did the actual like body work of Vader, the one who actually was in the suit. I can't remember his name, but he does a good role. Um, like I can feel like he does pull off Vader effectively well with like his body language. So that's a plus. The actual final duel at the end between Vader and Luke, top tier, and of course the reveal. And if you don't know about it, then I quite frankly have to know what the hell's wrong with you. Let's see. Yeah, top tier. Right. Let's do one of the spin-offs. Solo or Rogue. I'll do Rogue One. One one thing I find hilarious is that Rogue One essentially just explains why the Death Star has a massive 2 meter hole, which causes it to blow up. I think that's how this whole thing started, especially since A New Hope came out in like 77. Like, oh, why does the Death Star have an exhaust hole that goes all the way down to the core where it can be easily be blown up? So, um, but yeah, the only actor's name I can remember from the main cast is Jyn Erso. I don't remember any of his name, but I found the droid like the best part of the film. I think he's a comedic character done right. Why are the droids like the best part of the film? Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, Rogue One, I would put that in A. I can watch that. It's a good film, and it does like sort of give a sort like a slight morally grey. Got there. I got there in the end. I said it. Ow! I just hit the microphone. Great. Yeah. So Rogue One. Yeah, I'll enjoy it any day of the week. Right. Let's do the other spin-off actually. So Solo, a Star Wars story. I think the actors for Han and Lando actually did a very good job. I will admit. I feel like they did a good job. Um. Oh yeah, I forgot. Paul Bettany was in it, wasn't he? He was interesting. I don't think he even got there. Sorry, like, yeah, you can tell I don't have a script in front of me. Like, I don't even have notes or anything. I'm literally just going off what my thoughts and feelings are about it. I'll put it in B. There are some things that don't click for me, but apart from that, I feel like these could have been the younger versions of our characters that we see in A New Hope. I hit my microphone again. How do I keep doing that? Yeah, no. I mean, the Darth Maul cameo with Ray Park doesn't really click with me either. Why was he in the film? I think he was like a marketing thing, wasn't he? Like he was only in for like not even 5 minutes. So I don't know, and I don't think we don't even see him again officially until Rebels. So I haven't read any of the books or any comics that might explain where he was between this and Rebels. But there you go. But yeah, so B basically it was average for me. Oh boy, here we go. The sequel trilogy. Oh, this is gonna be a minefield. Okay, I'm gonna go with my favorite one, The Force Awakens. I feel like that was the best part of the sequel trilogy. It's not an S tier, it's an A or B for me. I actually quite liked it. So I'm just gonna put it there for now, so I don't have to keep holding my finger down for it, but I might change it. It's an A or B for me because I actually kind of like it. There's some things that don't make sense to me. I mean, I haven't seen any Legends materials whatsoever except for like a few games like Force Unleashed, Jedi Academy, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, ow, and of course the Star Wars Old Republic MMO, which I'm still playing. That's technically still Legends. I keep clicking my... Yeah, so like the Star Wars Republic MMO, which is still part of Legends, which I feel like that's the only thing that works. Yeah, so they're the only games like Legends materials that I think I've actually ever paid attention to. So I haven't read or played anything that gives any other mention to Legends apart from those I just mentioned. So I don't have anything to compare it to. So I found it enjoyable. This whole film is more of a setup, basically, which I feel like is what should be your first part of the film. I feel like it sort of leads too much from A New Hope. Like, I know the whole poetry, it rhymes thing, but it feels like it's too much rhyme. I feel like it's too much copy and pasting at times. Like, I'm fine with the whole desert planet thing. It's the fact that Starkiller Base is literally just a bigger Death Star, and they actually do take notice of that. I do like the spoilers, by the way. I'll probably put that at the beginning of the video, but yeah, I do like the death of Han Solo. I feel like that could have gone somewhere which pays off 2 films down. So at least they sort of worked that bit in. So I had something in my head about it. Yeah, I liked Finn in this film. Of course, BB-8, which I feel like is just a try and replace R2-D2 thing. Then it also like builds up on Luke Skywalker. I feel like that was actually a good plan to like hook people in. But in hindsight, because I it's just the problem with trilogies is that I can't view them based on the merits of a single film. Like if you just take Force Awakens out of context, I can't view it that way. I can't do that. I have to view them as a whole because it calls back to the original trilogy. So of course, you're going to compare it to the original trilogy, which sort of, well, technically it's meant to call back to the prequel trilogy, but the original trilogy came before the prequels. But yeah, it's meant to call back to events that happened in the prequel film. So I have to view them as a whole. as all 9 films. So, probably. But even then, I found it enjoyable. There's just like little things that just wiggle, wiggle out of control for me. Okay, actually, yeah. So B, right? It's gonna be in B. Where in the rankings of B shall it be? Hey, I should put an counter, like in the corner, in one of the corners or something. Do I like it more than Attack of the Clones? I like it more than Solo. It's just a question of whether do I like it more than Attack of the Clones. It's just the problem is I'm not sure because I know there's still people who actually like the prequels who feel like Attack of the Clones is a bad film and do like The Force Awakens. But there's the whole quality of like a single film as well. So there's like two distinct features of how I do it. So there's the quality of the first film, like does it make consistent sense on its own, like within its own story, but how well does it weave the larger lore, the larger stories from the other films into it? So how well does the film stand in its own in the lore, and how well does it incorporate lore from outside of it as well? So does The Force Awakens tell its story well? I think it does. I feel like its own story. It's sort of contradictory from what I'm trying to say. I'm not sure if I can say it correctly, but like I said, but I feel like it does work well. But so does Attack of the Clones. I mean, yeah, there's iffy dialogue, but there's also iffy dialogue and, well, not say iffy, but more sort of like campy in a way. Actually, up down to it, yeah. Gun to my head, Force Awakens probably better than Attack of the Clones. Right, let's see. Let's do an original trilogy now. A New Hope. Yeah. The one that started it all. And Return of the Jedi, yeah. If these were the only 3 films in existence, Empire, New Hope, and Return of the Jedi, I would have watched these 3 films for the rest of my life. If they were the only 3 films, I would be happy with that. Right. I've, I like it. I've left 2 films that divided the fan base so badly. Right. I might do these first. Oh boy. Okay. I'm putting this here because of a couple of reasons that sort of like don't make sense within its own story. That Holdo maneuver thing. Why didn't you just do that before and save the ship's lives? I feel like that doesn't make a lick of sense. Why didn't you just do it before? Maybe plan a droid, or even just sacrifice one person. Because if you're gonna do it anyway, why not do it where it could save hundreds, maybe thousands, or more lives down the line? And I know there's that whole thing about Leia doesn't need leaders, she doesn't need heroes, she needs leaders. But if Admiral Holdo is going to be a leader anyway, but still sacrifice herself, isn't she? Sacrifice herself, isn't she just a hero anyway? Uh, I'm just confused. Probably someone's gonna have to explain it to me. But that's it. That's that. What else? I think they also added a deadline. I think it was like 16 or 18 hours or something, which I feel like they should not have done. Because it puts a limit to how long these characters have until that deadline. So it basically means Rey was only on Arc 2, I think it was, for, I don't know, 14 hours, depending on how hyperspace works. And that's also another caveat. How does the Holdo maneuver even work? Because I thought it was just you travel in a literal different dimension. Because I think the speed of light, how it works in reality, it's just you're just moving very quickly. It doesn't look any different to how it is. It's just maybe just light, just things going around very quickly. Because I think there was a 3D animation of how it would look. Basically, things look closer to you. So when you initially go at the speed of light, things look like they're just going close to you, and it looks like you're very close, but you're not actually doing it. It's just the light. It's just light itself going all weird of just mind mess. Like it's just your brain being tricked because of like how fast you're going. I probably failed how I think it would work. There's probably new information because I only learned that about nearly 7 years ago. So there could have been new information that I don't know about. But then there's the whole thing about why did the engines go backwards? It's not air. You're in space. There's no air for you to like have any resistance against. And I know suspension of disbelief. It's a science fantasy show, but there's a point of suspension of disbelief just doesn't work anymore. And it's just, yeah. And the Luke Skywalker thing, I don't know enough about Luke Skywalker's, Luke Skywalker in Legends. So I can't really say, oh, Luke Skywalker was better in Legends, because I just don't know. The only time I've ever seen him in Legends was in Jedi Academy, and from what I remember, bearing in mind this was ages ago since I played it, I don't see. You don't really see much of him except him being as a teacher. The only thing that I don't get is why would Luke give up on Kylo Ren because you sense darkness with him, but try and bring his literal dad back to the light, who's done probably way worse things than Kylo Ren. Bearing in mind, I've only seen the films. I haven't seen any comics or books that are in between films or show background of any kind. One thing I actually do like about this film, one thing. Why is the ending essentially just try and look like Hoth? Because it's pretty much just white on red. Though I think they actually just try and say, oh no, it's not Hoth, because I think the guy literally went down, tasted it, and said, oh, it's salty or something. But yeah, no. The problem is, I just keep thinking that the sequel trilogy is just like. I keep thinking the sequel trilogy is just like the original trilogy. Just because there's Force Awakens, which there's so many comparisons to it being A New Hope. There's. I think the only comparison I think I can make to Empire Strikes Back is that there's some sort of reveal about the main character's family, and there's obviously the battle which looks similar to Hoth, where there's just craft of some spacecraft or landcraft or something going against AT-ATs, which they basically are. And it doesn't work out for the rebels or the resistance, and they have to flee. And the main bad guy in the scenario punishes one of his subordinates in some way. So Lux was it Lux who just gets thrown away? Yeah, I think it was. Who gets thrown away. I think the only difference is that Luke Skywalker does come in to save the day, basically. Right, and then there's Rise of Skywalker. That is straight up at the bottom of the barrel of the list. Right. How do you ruin Vader's story so profoundly that it just makes me dislike a film so bad? I know in Legends I know in Legends I heard about the Sith and Palpatine come back in Legends, and that's bad as well. I don't agree with that. I don't want to read that. Someone's gonna have to explain that to me, what happens in Legends with the Sith and all that, because I thought Vader was meant to destroy the Sith. That was actually his role. Like, I know the dark side isn't going to go away because, like, you know, circumstance and all that, the Sith are going to come back. Not the Sith, the dark side is still going to say it, going to go, like, stay. But, um, bringing back Palpatine was such a bad idea in my view. They should not have brought him back. They only brought him back because people disliked The Last Jedi so much they thought, oh, we'll bring the Emperor back. They'll bring back the nostalgia. People who liked the prequels and the original trilogy. So it's just... yeah. And I don't get why Palpatine cannot just protect himself from his own Sith lightning. Like, come on. There's that whole thing about all the Jedi as well. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know how that's such a cool line before you kill... Because Palpatine, it makes sense because he's essentially the rule of... essentially the most recent rule of 2 member. Like, Sith Lord. So he's literally got... So his training was literally passed down from 1,000 years worth. I mean, yeah, all the Sith would make point because if you have 1,000 years worth of Sith knowledge, then I'm pretty sure you would technically be all the Sith. But I don't get why Rey is all the Jedi when she's only been trained for 1 year. I don't get that. And I know there's that whole books thing, like there was those Jedi texts, but I'm pretty sure there's many more Jedi texts than just 6-7 books. And Luke may have like jotted down information or some Jedis or something, but I'm pretty sure you need an entire bleeding library of like artifacts and holocrons and books and information whatsoever to technically be all the Jedi. I don't know, maybe it's a metaphor or something. But even then, I don't know why 2 lightsabers immediately cause you to explode. And even then, didn't Palpatine also say in Rise of Skywalker that that if Rey strikes him down, he'll inhabit her body and continue the Sith? I don't know, maybe she has to strike him down when she's at her lowest. I don't know, maybe it's like pouring into the dark side or something. I don't know. Or maybe Rey also dies at the end of also as well. So Sidious literally does not have a body to inhabit and just dies anyway. One thing, the Force healing. I don't think that's a bad idea in concept. It's also in Knights of the Old Republic as a game mechanic. Actually, in most of the thing, instead of because I've only played Knights of the Republic 1 and 2, Force Unleashed, and Jedi Academy. In Jedi Academy and KOTOR's 1 and 2, there is a Force heal ability which works as game mechanics because they're hard games. So of course you're going to need healing of some kind. Force Unleashed you don't have because what I think works is that Force Heal should just be a light side ability. Because Jedi are all life forever, and they're protectors of life. So I think Force healing sort of works, but I feel like it should be like a ability which allows Jedi to perceive past events, like Quinlan Vos and Cal Kestis from Fallen Order. I remembered his name. Like, it should just be, like, I don't know, 1 in, like, 1,000 or 1,000,000 Jedi who can do Force heal, but maybe, like, as a way to, like, do something different is, like, maybe you transfer wounds as well, so you're giving up your life as well, which I think what happens at the end anyway, so when Rey heals the snake, she gets a scar, like, she gets the same deep scar on her leg or her or, like, here, like in her ribs or something, or like she experiences the same pain. It's like she takes the pain. It's like because a Jedi's life is sacrifice, So maybe she feels like that same agony that stays with it until the same amount of time when it would have healed. So when she heals Ben Solo from she literally stabbing him with his own lightsaber, maybe she feels that same cauterized organs and flesh until it would have healed naturally if it did. So she has that pain going into fighting Sidious, and maybe that's why she nearly falls until Ben Solo comes back. That could also explain why Ben Solo legit just straight up dies when he brings Rey back from the dead or near death. That could have been a way to explain it, why he just suddenly goes. So yeah, so rules for Force Heal, you have to be the top echelon of Jedi, so you have to be like a Yoda or an Anakin in like Force potential to even do it. You also have to be expertly trained in doing it. You take the wound or take the same pain and agony from that wound to yourself while leaving the others the recipient to the ability. Fine. And depending on the wound or type of like damage, it can lead to even death for the user, but it saves the recipient of it. There you go. And that's how I essentially fixed Force Heal. Oh, so why do people hate Rey doing it but are fine with Grogu from Mandalorian doing it? Like, I know he's technically 50 years old and he's been trained by Jedi in that time, but I don't know. I mean, they haven't really explained anything about Grogu's past. Like, if at all, except he was once at the Jedi Temple and he's like 50. I mean, we don't even know the name of the species of Grogu and Yoda and Yaddle anyway. So, anyway, yeah, there's just too many problems that are just like the suspense of disbelief that comes from lore anyway, even in canon. So, I like the idea of like top echelon. So Obi-Wan couldn't save. Though even then, why didn't the Jedi teach Anakin how to do it? I don't know. Maybe in their arrogance, maybe they just didn't want him to have that ability because he might just start, I don't know, trying to heal everyone, and it might cause him to die from taking too much wounds, and they don't want to do that. Because that's the type of person Anakin is. Basically, he wants to save everyone. So if he keeps on doing like force healing everyone, maybe he just straight up dies from the amount of pain and agony he's inflicting on himself, and all that pain and agony might lead him to the dark side anyway, because that's what apparently causes that slippery slope. Right. Apart from that, Revenge of the Sith, I put that in S tier. I think that's my favorite prequel trilogy film. Hayden Christensen, I feel like, does a better job. Just to feel like he's actually into the role now. I like all the battles. I love the final fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin. I don't think it's too long. I mean, it's literally Jedi at the prime of their abilities. Of course, they're gonna fight for a long time because it's literally two fighters at the peak of their powers, at their fighting ability, going at it. And so Obi-Wan's literally on the back foot pretty much the entire time, and he's a master of essentially defensive fighting against a master of offensive fighting. So it's essentially a stalemate until one has to give, and Obi-Wan essentially plays on Anakin's arrogance and fueled of the dark side. He tries to jump over Obi-Wan, which I feel like is just smart. So yeah, Ian McDiarmid as, I probably said his name wrong, as like Palpatine, kills it. Samuel L. Jackson, I think Mace Windu's inner Samuel L. Jackson comes into play more, which is fantastic. Yeah, Christopher Lee's last Star Wars film, I think he did a perfect role at the end. And Yoda and Sidious's fight was good, fantastic even. I said again. I like Grievous, but only because I saw the 2D show with him before Revenge of the Sith came out. I saw bits and pieces, but I saw him and he was awesome. Also scared the crap out of me. I had a nightmare about him once, and that was not good. I still remember having a nightmare about the 2D Clone Wars Grievous as a kid, and my god, I did not sleep well, shall we say. But yeah, that's my official ranking. Nothing in C, so nothing below average. Last Jedi and uh, Rise of Skywalker, or I hope I don't have to watch them again. Solo, Attack of the Clones, and Force Awakens are average in my mind. Rogue One and Phantom Menace are great. I can watch them again. And of course, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back. They are top tier. If they were the only films in existence, I would be happy with, and I could watch them any day of the week. So yeah, there you go. Thank you to anyone who decided to watch me ramble on for however long it's been. I can't check the time, otherwise it would just look weird. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and share. I think you can do. I don't know. This is technically my first official YouTube video. So yeah, I'm planning to do more reviews about games in the future. So maybe do a couple of more tier lists, and yeah, maybe even do like a game, because I know there's some Star Wars games I want to review as well. So yeah, look forward to that. Right, see you.